Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. Today I'm going to be talking about seasoning salt, water kefir again, vinegar again, and other this and that. So let's get started. First of all, I want to talk about this really cool gift I got from one of my followers, another YouTuber by the name of Oma's Thoughts, and she sent me these silicone molds. I don't know if anyone's been following me for a while. They know I've been talking about wanting to get these for a while. I keep putting them in my cart and I say, oh, I better not do it right now. I really don't need them. And then I don't buy them. So then I go to the post office yesterday and oh, I got a package, cool. And I open it up and I almost started crying because I was so excited to see these. I knew right away when I saw them in the box like this what they were. I was so thrilled. And so if you haven't seen these, they have so many really cute shapes. I love the little dinosaurs. And I just think, you know, some of these would be great for making those miniature soaps. And a lot of them will be great for making more chocolates and gummies, vitamin gummies and stuff. So if you haven't seen any of my chocolate videos, you can look. I have a whole playlist just about healthy homemade chocolates, and I also have a video on how you can make your own vitamin gummies, and I'll post to that right up here. And I'll show you a couple more of the shapes. This is another of my favorites, the lion. I think the hippo's really cute, and I love the little Lego looking blocks. This would be really fun for kids. And then just some miscellaneous ones. So that's all the molds. I think that those will be so much fun. Now if you watched my video on lavender leaves, Beth had commented under there asking me if I'd ever used the lavender leaves for tea. And she said that. I'm like, that's what I need to do. I need to try it in tea. So I did make a batch of tea and mixed it with some of my homegrown peppermints, and it turned out amazing. I liked it so much. I had it again the next night, and again I'm going to make it again tonight. I'm really liking it, and I use fresh herbs for that, and I'll be doing a separate video on how I use fresh herbs for making my organic tea blends. You know, there's very little difference between that and the dried, but there is a little bit, so I'll show you that, so be watching out for that video. And anyway, and then in the process I also decided to start, when I was thinking of tea, I'm like, I should go ahead and try using it in some kefir. And right here I have a citrus, it's orange, and lavender leaf kefir, and I tasted it recently. It was pretty good. This one's just about done. I'm going to be putting it in the fridge. And then yesterday I had the elderberry lavender leaf kefir, and it was really good as well. So I'm going to keep experimenting. The lavender leaves just add a unique and interesting flavor, but they're sweet enough that they don't really clash with the fruit flavors, and so I'm really liking it. It's pretty good, and just another fun way to get that in there. But the peppermint, the next kefir I'm going to make is doing it the way I do my herbal nightly, you know, cup of warm herbal infusion, and I'm going to do the peppermint lavender leaf on that one. All right, and then here is something I needed to do an update on because I promised, and this is the citrus apple vinegar that I was doing some experimenting with by adding some sugar along the way during the process to see if it would yield a stronger, more acidic vinegar. Now, I don't have any pH strips. I keep forgetting to get some. I do plan on getting some so I can find out exactly what the acidity is of this. But by doing a quick test with taste, smell, and with a little bit of baking soda, I can tell this is definitely a stronger vinegar than what I typically yield. So adding a little sugar as it goes is going to increase the fermentation time until you get a vinegar. So you may have to go 6 weeks, maybe even 2 months on it, but it's going to give you a stronger result in the end. So it just depends on how strong you're wanting your vinegar. 30 days is great, especially for a mild type vinegar that you want to use for salad dressings and stuff like that. But what we're looking at is seeing if we can increase the acidity to make a stronger cleaning agent, even for possibly pickling with. I've tried pickling with homemade vinegar in the past when I was first getting into vinegar making and was unsuccessful. You don't want to do that if the acidity is really low. It's got to be at least at 5% acidity, or the pH would be 4 to 5 on that. So the lower number in the pH is actually the higher in acidity, just so you know that. So I will be getting some test strips down the road and start testing some of my vinegars, and so I can compare them side by side with that to get a more accurate reading. And when I do that, I will get back to you on that so you can have a better idea on the actual numbers and see if that's something that's gonna work for you. Okay, so let's get on to the seasoning salt. Now, I do have a video out on how to make your own seasoned salt, and you know, it's one of my earlier videos. The picture's a little bit on the dark side, but it's not bad. Either way, I wanted to show you, just do a recap on it. And I already have put all of my spices into my jar, because this is now how I mix any of my dry ingredients, is in a half-gallon jar if I'm wanting to fill a quart jar. And so what I have here, I have 2 cups, because I'm wanting to fill up my quart jar, which is right here. There's a little bit of seasoned salt left in there. I have 2 cups of my mineral salt. So you want, you know, either Himalayan salt. I highly recommend the Redmond real salt. That is my favorite. I will link to it below. I have got 3/4 cup of black pepper. We like the coarse ground. I've got 1/4 cup each of granulated garlic and granulated onion, and then a 1/2 cup of paprika. So it's kind of fun to do it this way too, because it's sort of like doing sand art. And it just looks very cool. And then once you have all that in there, all you got to do, make sure you got a good lid on there, got it on tight, and you just shake it up like this. So much easier to do than mixing with a big fork in a measuring cup or a bowl. You're going to get a better, it's going to blend together much better, and plus you can see it a little bit better what it's doing. I find swirling around like this really helps. Shaking it this way, shaking it this way. Okay, and so then there's your seasoned salt. And then all you do is make sure you got your canning funnel on top of your jar so you don't have a mess, and then just pour it in there. And then whenever, we don't keep this one out, obviously, this is the one I keep in storage. This just kind of makes life easier so that when I run out of my smaller container, I just refill it from here. And then this is the container we leave out for, you know, that we use on the daily basis for the seasoned salt. It's one of those rustic lids, and then I just had Mr. Rain drill some holes in the top for me, and he put big ones so the coarse pepper can get through real good, and it shakes well. So it's one of these lids here. Now I got these from a lady I was buying a local lady I was buying soy candles from, and they all came with these kind of lids. I do have a link that I'll put below where you can buy some lids. They're similar to this, and also to the wide mouth ones like I use on these jars here. And I'm going to be talking about these some more in another video that I'll be doing soon. Now, one thing you might want to know, if you decide to buy some of these rustic lids, they're specifically for craft purposes and not recommended for food. However, what I like to do is I like to take the lids, and on the inside, I'll put just a couple little beads of beeswax and then set it on the wood stove or a hot plate or something and let it melt, and then brush it around in there to put a protective layer on the inside of the lid, and that helps, you know, just prevent anything from leaching into the food if you're concerned about that. I mean, either way, you can use plastic lids and you're going to have the same issue. You're still going to have to worry about toxins leaching into your food from the plastic. So no matter how you look at it, there's always something you got to deal with. We do the best we can to be healthy and stay away from toxins, but you also cannot allow yourself to live in fear. Another thing you can do to protect yourself from the lid, and also will give it a tight-fitting seal so it will be keep air from getting in, is they actually make liners for these types of lids that you can purchase, and I will go ahead and link to those below. But since I use my lids on things that I'm not worried about getting a good tight seal on, these particular lids, because they're mostly for looks, the beeswax method is good enough for me, and I know it's organic and I know it's healthy, and it's a lot cheaper than having to buy the liners. But it's just something to consider if you're concerned about keeping it real airtight. Now, usually all these teas and stuff you see over here, or any of these things out here, they're things that I'm usually working through quickly, so I don't worry about a real tight seal because it's not about long-term storage here. If I'm doing long-term storage, I'm going to go with a canning lid, and you know, like this. Okay. All right, and then one more thing is, if you watched my last This and That video where Smokey had sent us that handmade candle holder, we did get it hung up in my living room, and I'm going to go ahead and insert a picture of that right here. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video and that you learned something new. Thanks for watching. Take care, and God bless.